Innovation and Design Thinking IDT. VTU Module 1. Innovation and Culture. Exploring the work of designers across the globe. Part 1. Innovation and Culture. Exploring the work of designers across the globe. Designers are working every day at various parts of the globe, designing the products like furniture, cell phones, clothing, kitchen accessories, and also services. The question is how they do this, what it means to be a designer in different regions and cultures. Is there are any variations in the design practices at different regions? These are not well understood. Pamela Hines and Joachim Leon tried to understand and also describe the ways design is practiced at different parts of the globe by conducting a comparative study. What it means to be a designer in Asia, Europe, and the United States. Hines and Leon contextualized view of culture, design practices in the local context and the institutional context, and finally people's values. These are inseparable and intertwined. Culture is defined as a fuzzy set of attitudes, beliefs, behavioral norms, and basic assumptions and values that are shared by a group of people, and that influence each member's behavior and his or her interpretations of the meaning of other people's behavior. Their study focused on national culture, including company culture, also disciplinary culture, as intertwined cultural forces that mold the design practice. See the figure. Figure shows the view on how design practices and thinking are embedded within their cultural context. There are three layers: design thinking and practice, national, corporate and disciplinary culture, and social and institutional environment. Every layer affects and also is affected by its adjacent layers. National culture and design practice. Hines and Leon investigated the relationship between national culture and design practice. However, there are few more studies related to this subject matter. Wang and his colleagues in 2005 made comparison between Germany and China on innovation management. This study concluded that innovation activities in Germany more clearly sequential, divided, and scheduled, whereas the innovation activities in China are overlapping. Studies of Khurrana and Rosenthal in 1998 brought out the cultural differences in new product development, that holistic approach in Japan firms and formality approach in US firms. This study supporting the belief that design practices may vary by culture. Some studies focused on cultural dimensions, but not the social and institutional context. They are article by Zhao and his colleagues in 2006 on economic development in China conclude that in China it is difficult in incorporating the customer perspectives. This is because of Confucianism and may adhere more to supervision and rules. This directly affecting the design thinking in China. Confucianism, also known as Ruism, is a system of thought and behavior originating in ancient China. Variously described as tradition, a philosophy, a religion, a humanistic or rationalistic religion, a way of governing, or simply a way of life, Confucianism developed from what was later called the 100 schools of thought from the teachings of the Chinese philosopher Confucius. Research article published by Chavan and his colleagues in 2009 in Interactions magazine presented the barriers of design methods in developing countries. They suggested that there is an opportunity to evolve design practices that are sensitive to the cultures. This study uses ethnographic research. Ethnography is a branch of anthropology and the systematic study of individual cultures. This approach enables us to understand the meanings that people associate with idea generation, prototyping, sketching, and other design practices, thus providing a deeper understanding of these perspectives than is available using quantitative methods. Research method. The study of Hines and Lyon involved interviews with designers and observations of designers when they are working. Interviews were conducted with design managers and designers in Europe, North America, and Asia. These interviews on average about 60 minutes, ranging from 30 to 90 minutes. Interviews were conducted in meeting rooms, private offices. Depending on situation, interviews were also conducted in cafes and open. These interviews were not completely structured as the goal is to understand the designers. Questions asked in the interviews were about a recent or current project, exploration on how the project was scheduled and organized, the sources of innovation, the ways prototypes were used, how the project whether or reflected them as a designer. Almost all the interviews were recorded and documented. Some of the interviews were conducted in the designer native language, either directly or indirectly with the help of an interpreter. For the interviews conducted in foreign languages other than English, these interviews were translated by a translator or by the interviewer herself and documented. The list of interviews conducted were 32 designers in China, 8 designers in Korea, 12 designers in Europe, 12 designers in North America. To get insights about the work practices of designers and how they were trained in different regions, interviews were also conducted with the faculty and students in design schools in the Korea, Netherlands, and USA. Research method also includes observation of designers at their workplace for comparison of work practices at different sites or regions. In summer 2009, research team has spent about 7 weeks in Korea and China. Detailed notes are made on the designers' conversations and activities, successes and frustrations. Table shows the regions and the know-of sites where the interviews were conducted. The main aim of this study is to get insights about designers from different companies, disciplines, regions, and countries. Hence, sampling strategy was to understand design consultancies and in-house design establishments that are operating at least in 2 continents and also in different spaces. Zhejiang Innovation Center, through which researcher get access to 2 Chinese design centers, one of which has a European design operation. Sinoco, China, do not have design centers outside of Asia, but included in this study because they gave useful insights in home appliances design and working extensively with the other design consultancies and inside of China. This gave insights about designers' perceptions on the client-consultant relationship. Observations were also made at 2 design firms with global operations and observations made on designers in Asia, North America, and Europe. As this research is a cross-cultural research, and the data collected would be rich and complete if these interviews are done in the designer's native language. Hence, the observers should have competence in the language in order to understand the discussions that are taking at the workplace. Therefore, research team composed several members who had Korean or Chinese or language competence, and either they were natives or had lived for considerable time in these countries. Team members in Europe, also chosen as appropriate. Results and insights. Culture and design. This research revealed various insights related to culture and design practices, including 1. The role of the institutional context, focusing on client expectations to different attitudes toward what it means to be creative. 3. Ways of using prototypes. 4. Interaction norms within professions. 5. Ecologies around design education. Client expectations. Design practices are greatly affected with the corporate culture, yet adaptations also required to meet the needs of the local clients. The structures of organizational culture, institutional context, client demands, of local culture, all three were intertwisted and mutually determining the practices of designers. Client expectations at design consultancies were greatly influencing on the types of prototyping, generation of the concept, and finally storytelling processes by designers at different regions. Results revealed that clients have frames which determining the expectations, what the designers should deliver, and how they should behave, and the client's own role during the whole process. Client expectations at design consultancies were greatly influencing on the types of prototyping, generation of the concept, and finally storytelling processes by designers at different regions. Results revealed that clients have frames which determining the expectations, what the designers should deliver, and how they should behave, and the client's own role during the whole process. These frames now affecting the means in which design should be interpreted and put in practice. There are strong effects of the expectations around building the relationships and process as a deliverable. Whether design process is seen an investment or as a cost, the value of function versus form. On these perspectives, the client environments in Asia, North America, and Europe were different. Other results and insights are presented in the next video. Thanks for watching. Comment for any suggestions. Like, share and subscribe for more videos.